You're listening to another episode of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon.
What's going on, Nightshifters? We're back for another exciting show. Episode 143 is here. Yeah, I'm Chuck. Well, today I'm the king of Captain D's.
That's right.
And that's John with his turtle friend.
Yeah, I named him Bean.
Named him what?
Bean.
Bean?
Yeah, he can be like the mascot of our show. He's like
B-E... Oh, like a coffee bean.
Yeah, Bean.
He looks not thrilled.
He was jaywalking through my driveway, and I scooped him up and decided he would be a guest on the pod today.
Okay, well, the box turtles only have a home range of like 100-foot radius.
That's really weird. How do you know that?
Because Dad studied box turtles when he found some eggs in the backyard.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he went in the whole Google search mode.
So this guy lives really close.
Yeah, he's got eggs somewhere close to you.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, Catherine actually is the one who captured him for me, and it was quite funny.
Was you scared?
Catherine was scared.
It's just a turtle, man.
I know, but he had his mouth open. He wouldn't shell up. You know what I mean? He was going into defense, like with his mouth rather than shelling up.
Yeah, there's a reason why that turtle was aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Man, I tell you what, I feel like I used the introduction info and stuff in before we started recording.
I know. We were hitting on quite a bit before we hit the.
But that could have got us canceled, and we don't want to get canceled.
Yeah.
Not by Ben Shapiro and his peoples.
Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Look, I'm just going to jump ahead to some notes right quick.
Go ahead.
And we'll swing back to the weekend review.
Okay.
But the turtle has got me thinking that you needed an emotional support reptile, like the guy with the emotional support gator.
Yeah. Was that not one of the funniest articles you've ever read?
Dude, is Bean your emotional support turtle now?
I think so. Yeah, he is the emotional support turtle, whatever, of Last Night's Coffee. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there was a guy. He was from New York or Pennsylvania?
He was from Pennsylvania.
He was from Pennsylvania, and he goes on vacation to Brunswick or St. Simons, somewhere down there.
Yep.
With his emotional support alligator that he's had for like 3 years.
Wally was his name.
Wally. Which is probably the best alligator name that you could come. I mean, that's a great alligator name. It don't get any better.
Better gator name.
I mean, Wally. Who's going to be scared of Wally? So, dude takes his emotional support alligator to Gator Country for vacation. A vacation.
Yeah. And
he escaped somehow from his fenced-in backyard. That the guy was staying. I guess he was staying at an Airbnb that had a fence.
Yeah.
Now look, I'm not a gator expert, but I'm pretty sure springtime is prime gator love season.
Yep.
So he thinks somebody stole this gator out of his fenced-in backyard. Now look, people in Brunswick, they don't need to steal an alligator. They're just there. My uncle was down there. They were fishing on a golf course pond, some golf course ponds one day.
Uh-huh.
And the guy he's fishing with is like, hey man, I want to keep a couple of these to eat. He's like, okay. So he's throwing the fish up on the bank,
Mm-hmm.
and about a 6-footer come up out of the water and ate the fish that he was throwing up on the bank.
Whoo! And they probably never even knew he was in there.
No, never knew he was there.
That's what's terrifying about gators, man. You don't even know.
No, you don't. You don't. Them things are slick, dude.
Yeah. But to think that someone would steal a gator out of a backyard in Brunswick, Georgia, like there's some in the creek down the road. They don't need to steal one out of a backyard. It's like this guy thought because his alligator had a social media following that it's going to be held for ransom or something like that. Like he's waiting on the ransom call right now or something.
If he find like I should go find a gator and be like, hey man, I got your gator. Can you describe him for me? And he's like, well, he's green in color. He's about 5.5 foot long. Answers to the name Wally.
Oh my gosh.
Your name Wally? His name's Wally. He said Wally. I gave him a piece of chicken and he said Wally.
How about our buddy at work who told the ducks not to come back through his driveway?
Dude, that was he said, y'all don't come back. I'm gonna shoot you.
And by God, they came back. They didn't listen.
They came back. And he's like, I guess they don't speak English.
Man, we work with some of the best people, man.
I mean, just dead serious, dude. I guess they don't speak English.
Dead serious. He didn't listen. They come back.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to go ahead.
We all know that Wally found Wanda. He went and found a Wanda. Like he was not.
Yeah.
He was.
How do we know Wally was a Wally and not a Wanda?
Wally could have been a Wanda.
Did he check?
Dude, the way to check on an alligator is frisky.
Yeah, you got to get up in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They got like shields and stuff.
I mean, it depends on how much emotional support this gator was giving him. He may have found out.
Yes, he might know. But yeah, I mean, just to think that somebody would steal your alligator in Brunswick, Georgia. I mean, Brunswick's not known to be crime free.
But think about this. This man from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Anybody who would need an emotional support alligator in the first place would come up with some sort of story that it gets stolen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I bet that dude voted for what's his name out of Pennsylvania, that senator, the one that had the stroke.
Yeah, Kevin.
Kevin?
Isn't his first name Kevin? I'm pretty sure his first name's Kevin. I can't.
Yeah. Excuse us, people. We really didn't think that joke out.
We didn't.
We did.
It landed on a politician having a stroke. That probably wasn't the most thought out.
John Fetterman.
Fetterman. What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his first
John
name?
Fetterman.
Oh, John. Dang it.
Yeah. He's a 4-letter John, though.
Oh, the bad kind.
He looks like Uncle Fester. But I bet that dude voted for him. If you got an emotional support anything, you're probably voting for something where they're going to give you free stuff.
You're voting for the reptilian.
Yes, for the reptilian cabal that runs the world.
That's right. You're full Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sure. I don't think Alex Jones votes for Democrats.
No, but like you're out there like Alex.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The ridge line is going down the driveway. It is not a truck, and it is not an SUV. It is a Honda Ridgeline.
It wants to be a truck.
It wants to be a truck. You said it come through while we were doing our pre-show conversation, and you just had to see how things are set up around here. It's not my driveway; it's the neighbor's driveway. And you said that was kind of like the Cybertruck.
Mm-hmm. It's the prequel to the
It's the
Cybertruck.
prequel to the Cybertruck.
If you look
And
at
I
that
said
redesign, like it wants to be.
yeah. And I said if you were going to remake Back to the Future, you would have to use a Cybertruck because it's stainless steel construction makes it ideal for time travel.
Yes, and you also said, and I 100% agree with you. It looks like Doc Brown built an El Camino.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the exact same look as the Cybertruck.
And you could nuclear power it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And then you don't run out of gas from getting chased by Indians. You just don't run into any of the problems that you would in time travel because you have a nuclear fusion device.
Well, I'll do you one better. What if it's working off a 0-point energy?
Well, I don't even think Doc Brown's got that figured out yet.
I mean, Tesla did, kind of. He had ideas on it, theories, plenty of theories. Lots of people have had inventions on 0-point energy, but they're all dead.
Okay, so this is totally off track of this a little bit.
Yep.
There's a guy on TikTok that has an Airbnb.
Okay.
So the Airbnb is about, I think he said 5 or 6 hours from his house. So he watches it on camera. He's got his camera set up. He checks the outside of the house, make sure, nothing crazy is going on.
Okay.
He believes that he could possibly have a time portal in the shed behind it.
What? Why?
Because he has observed people going into the shed and different people coming out.
Is this his neighbor's shed or his shed?
It's his shed.
Whoa.
And,
that would be amazing.
And people are like, well, why don't you go set up? And look, I'll show you the TikTok tonight if I can find it.
Yeah.
The guy that goes in the shed in his 30s looks identical to the guy that comes out of the shed in his 60s.
Get out of here.
And then they switch to the front camera. The guy walks around the house. They switch to the front camera. He goes up to a car and talks to the passenger side window of the car that is sitting out there in the road in front of the house, and then walks off down the road.
We just walks off down the road, never to be seen again.
Never seen again.
Wow.
But you can see some of the same facial features in the younger guy versus the older guy.
What if that is like a little Stargate he's got? Where does he live? Do you remember what area of the world he lives in?
He didn't really want to disclose it because he don't want people going there, and like ripping his barn apart. So what'd you do this weekend, John?
Yeah, there's so many questions I could ask about that. Yeah, let's go to we got to move on with the show here.
Yeah, we got to get going.
My weekend review. Well, I worked on cars, Chucker.
No birthday party?
No party this weekend.
What?
Well, I take that back. Let me take that back. Correction. Lana had her friend birthday party. So, like, her friends came over and slept over here Friday night. So,
okay.
Saturday, there was, all the girls were here and they were playing and having a good time after they woke up.
Did she get another birthday cake?
Cupcakes.
So you had another birthday party. So you had an average John weekend.
Another average John weekend.
It's just average at John's house. We're going to work on some cars and we're going to stop long enough to have a birthday party. Or go to a birthday party. There's a birthday involved in your weekend.
You had the average Oxenford weekend as of late, so why don't you go tell us about your weekend?
Well, Friday actually started out with a date night.
Oh, no way. Where did you guys want to go?
We ended up going to the Japanese steakhouse downtown, and we had the usual fare that you would have at a Japanese steakhouse.
Sure.
And we had some
Sure.
cream cheese ragoons or whatever it was for an appetizer. Everything was delicious. Come back and watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. Have you seen it yet?
I have not. Is it on
Dude.
Prime?
Uh, I don't even know what I watched it on. I can't remember.
Okay.
I just found it. I think it's on Hulu.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Because you know with a Roku TV, you can kind of just search. It'll search all the apps at one time.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't remember what I watched it on. But anyway, dude, great movie.
Yeah.
It really throws back to the OG Ghostbusters.
There was a lot of the same cast, right? Like some of them came back for this one, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. I don't want to give it away because it is if you liked the original Ghostbusters, you will like this. And it throws back to the OG cartoon a little bit too. With
that's good.
With what the car can do. Like some of the features on the car.
Right.
That they really didn't get into in the movie. But
that was always one of the coolest things about Ghostbusters, right? Was the car. Like, the car could do whatever they wanted it to do.
Right. But yeah, it's really good. So now I'm ready to go see the new Ghostbusters movie that's coming out. The one, Frozen New York or Freeze or something that has to do with the freeze.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good. It was. I highly suggest that movie.
Was this the all-female cast or whatever?
No.
Okay, because I heard that one bombed.
Yeah, that one was no good at all. This one's got the original guys in it, and it's following Egon's granddaughter.
Okay, I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I can get down with that. You texted me that night, so interested that they had like a little mini CERN on that's what their backpacks were.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was when I saw them because she was working on it, and I'm like, proton pack is a hydrogen collider, is a mini hydrogen. Okay.
It's all just a particle accelerator. Yeah, just.
So can they really do that?
What?
Can they do that?
Not mini. I don't think so. I mean, look at how big CERN is. It has to be that big.
Yeah, but could you take CERN and get it spinning up, like and then shoot a laser?
It depends on what conspiracy theorist you ask. What CERN can do. But as you and I both know, all it's doing is accelerating particles, right? That's all it's doing, and it's trying to collide those particles together. And upon that collision, we experience new forms of physics. Basically, we had a new particle form. The last time we did, called the Higgs boson particle. That's one of the main accomplishments of CERN is they discovered a new particle, which is absolutely phenomenal. And crazy. It was always a theorized particle of what would happen when two hydrogen particles collided like that, or two electrons or protons, whatever, collided like that. So yeah, I mean that's one of the big things that CERN has done is it's just colliding particles. So no, it doesn't. Yes, it creates a lot of energy, but no, not in the form of like a beam, not in like the form of directing into a weapon. No, that's just not what CERN's doing.
That we know of.
Yes. But the whole idea of like, people always try to think about like building nuclear fusion reactors and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, we have nuclear fusion, the biggest nuclear fusion reactor ever in the sky. I think if we really invested a lot of money into like just figuring the sun out, we would be in a lot better shape than trying to build some nuclear reactors here.
If you'd watch Fallout, you would really dig it because everything's nuclear on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they use little cold fusion reactors for everything.
Oh, wow. How interesting.
No batteries. Everything's nuclear.
Cold fusion reactors.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I
So
was
then
thinking
we went.
about? Can I just throw this out there really quick? This is a really wild thing to think about. Have you?
Go right ahead.
What all do you know about supercomputers?
Well, I know a little bit about them because the Jack Carr books that I listened to, they had a supercomputer on it, and it was really smart.
Okay. Yes. And did it go into detail on like how they operate as far as like they have to be at absolute zero in order to operate? Like the temperature, the temperature of the ambient room that it's in has to be absolute zero?
They may have.
Yeah. So it's very, that's the one thing with supercomputers. One reason they're just super delicate to heat and temperature. We're spending all this time and all this energy developing supercomputers, and they're so delicate. At what point do we realize we all have supercomputers in our skulls? Like, we can do these computations in our, like, how fast our brain computes, and there's no heat exchange. Like, we can figure out a better way, is what I'm saying. There's got to be a different way to compute calculations without generating heat. Because that's all we're doing in our brains is calculate. We're computing calculations. Compute.
Yeah.
So if our brains can do it without generating heat, well, we need to go in a different direction on supercomputers.
But our brains are designed to do it by somebody a lot smarter than us.
Correct. Correct. All I'm saying is there's other ways.
There's other ways. Okay. And then we went to the racetrack and we broke the race car.
How quick did you break the race car?
It was about halfway through the feature.
Really?
I mean, you could tell something wasn't right. I'm like, something's not right with that car. And I think the piece that broke had been flexing the past 2 weekends. And finally it just said, nope, I'm done.
Okay. You said it was on the axle, right?
It was the axle tube itself ripped apart.
Oh, wow. Oh, dang.
I've never seen that. I've talked to some people. They've never seen it. I've got a theory that when I get up there and look at it real close, is that at some point in that rear end's life, somebody decided that axle tube needed to be longer, like they had 2 tubes, and they needed to make one longer tube, and they welded it together.
Yeah, I've never heard of an axle tube breaking.
Yeah, and the way that it is a very straight break.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did that fall down on your axle shaft and?
Yeah, bent the axle, bent the shock.
Yeah.
Because when he got on it, it rolled, so it rolled the shock up and bent the shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got 3 weeks off, so any money we were going to save during that 3 weeks is not going to be saved.
You're going to be looking for a new rear end.
No, I'll just fix this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just so the housing, the rear end center section is magnesium and the tubes are steel. So
you can weld them.
Huh?
You can weld them if you wanted to.
Oh, I ain't welding it. I'll just get a new axle tube.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And it just bolts right on.
Yeah. Well, kind of bolts on. You got it's a heat. It's a heat fit.
Oh, fancy.
So you got to heat it up, and then do some things. So
better you than me, buddy. I don't feel like.
No, it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. You just do it, man.
Well, how bummed was Charlie on that showing?
He was kind of bummed out. He was hoping that it was a tire. He knew something was going on. He was hoping it was just a tire going down. And that would have. I don't know if that would have been that much cheaper or not. We still ended up with fifth because they tore up so many cars.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Hey, that ain't bad.
yeah. I mean, he had his best non-finish of the year. Um. So, yeah.
We'll take that. Take it in stride, man.
I mean, it's just a race car,
Yeah.
and this is the stuff that's going to happen.
So are you going to be ready to roll again in a few weeks then? When you come back?
Yeah, I'll probably have it apart tomorrow. I think I might have. So I've got a whole nother rear end.
Mm-hmm.
I've just got to measure it, make sure it's got the right tubes in it,
Gotcha.
and I might just swap them. I don't know yet. I hadn't really decided that part. I can either swap them or I could get an axle tube. I've got a couple axle tubes and some of the stuff that we've got, but I don't know if they're lefts or rights. They're probably lefts because the rights are the ones that always get bent.
Got it.
It's racing, dude. But
Racing.
that's what we did. Huh?
Always something with you racers.
Always something, man. That's why we do it, because it keeps us out of trouble.
That's right. You ready to take a little ad break, man?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Nightshifters, we're back. My microphone failed. The turtle left, and it's just all falling apart. We're just going to burn it down. Okay?
So basically, I should be a lot louder now, and Chuck should be a lot quieter now.
The cicadas have taken over the world.
That's true. I've heard this before.
Middle Georgia. We've got a problem with big cicada right now. Have you heard the big group? Because the cicadas that come out right now don't sound like our regular average cicada.
Right. That's what I've heard. I have not heard this group of cicadas. No.
Okay, so we were at Huckabee's getting ice on the way to the racetrack Saturday, and Charlie's like, "What's that noise?" I'm like, "What noise?" And then I listened, and you could hear it. It's like an electric weed eater just whirling, just that.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of having that rattle sound, they might individually have the right rattle sound, but when you get them all together and the sounds cancel each other out or never stop, it sounds like that. Yeah. Dad said it was so bad over at the lake this weekend that you could hardly carry on the conversation.
Oh, wow. Now, are cicadas like crickets where they kind of fall into harmony?
I think so.
Yeah. That's so strange.
I'm not a cicada. I'm not an expert on big cicada.
Only box turtles?
I do know a little bit more about box turtles than I do cicadas. I have heard, and you'll like this, that I learned this from the Duck Call Room podcast, that box turtles and rattlesnakes will live in the same hole.
Really? They'll get along just fine?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but does that mean if we got box turtles, we got rattlesnakes?
I hope not.
I hope not either. I've only seen one out here.
I've never seen a rattlesnake this far.
They don't get out this way much.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's weird how, like, Spalding County, for whatever reason, is not really on the cicada map.
What do you mean?
So they've got a map of the counties that will be affected by the cicadas.
Mm-hmm.
And, high, low, intense. Griffin is like very minimal on the low, like Spalding County. But Henry County and Fayette County and Coweta might be on the low too. But Fayette and Henry are high on the list.
I
and
wonder
so is
what.
Butts County. I don't know. It's like, but like we don't have bears either. But they got bears in Butts County.
Yeah. How much wilderness do you have there? How much? I mean, do you have enough in Spalding County?
Cicadas or bears?
Yeah, either. Probably for cicadas. I mean, they go underground.
They kind of like dirt, so we got all the dirt.
Yeah, but bears need to hibernate. So do you got all the caves in the world?
Technically, brown bears or black bears, like what we have around here, don't hibernate in the winter.
Oh, really?
No.
It doesn't get cold enough?
Yeah. Yeah, like a Florida bear does not hibernate.
That makes sense. There's no need. It doesn't get that cold. Your food sources don't stop moving.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably the only reason why bears hibernated in the first place is they couldn't find any food.
Yeah, I think that's more of a grizzly thing than brown bears.
It makes sense because they're
brown bear, like the brown bears in California, are grizzly bears.
Yes,
they're just not as mean.
Right. Yeah. Grizzly bear is a brown bear for sure.
Yeah, they're the same. They're the same critter.
There's not hardly any brown bears left in California, even though they're on their state flag.
Yogi.
Yogi's over there. Smokey.
Yeah, Smokey the bear.
I got my daughter a shirt that says "Spark change, not wildfires," and it's got Smokey the bear on.
I heard that. So if you would like to reach out to us with your own cicada report, we are interested. We like cicadas.
Yeah, feel free. We encounter them all the time at work. They just come flying in the shop up under a truck with us.
Yeah, they are invasive to our building that we work in.
Yep.
You'll see them get caught up in spider webs and dusty spider webs, and
you'll listen to it all night.
That takes them out. We've thrown them at people. Yeah, so it's almost like it's an emotional support cicada. It helps you get through the night, if you will.
Yeah, a little burst of entertainment come flying in.
So now we're gonna our usual show that we try to keep light and happy. We're gonna talk about this case that is sweeping the nation. Interest.
And it's really sad. It's not something. It's not the type of thing we normally cover on this show, but it is a bit of a. There are some conspiracies behind the allegations and all that stuff. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Mica Miller. If you're on the world of TikTok, you've probably already seen her. If not, you can go look it up. But she died. We know that part. That part is factual. She is not alive.
Correct.
Her husband, who happens to be a preacher at a church, and I'm not even going to give the name of the church because I don't want to give him any credit. Because even if he didn't do this, he still seems like he might not be the church you want to go to.
Yep.
Very righteous gemstones feeling. Without the money. But anyway, so she died, and we know that it was from a gunshot. Do we know it was from a gunshot wound?
It was reported that it was from a gunshot wound, yes.
Okay. So now he gets up in church. And so they've been separated for a while. And she sent him the divorce papers, and this ain't his first rodeo with divorce. And then I can't hear myself. So anyway, she ends up dead.
Right.
He gets up there the next Sunday, preaches a whole sermon, and then tells the congregation that she killed herself.
Yeah.
Now has the investigation as to how she died is still ongoing, right? Correct.
As far as I know, there was no cause of death. Like obviously the gunshot wound, but like how it was inflicted, there was no determination yet.
Right. Now there's all these affidavits and people are coming forward and saying, look, she was not suicidal at all.
Right. And her husband was very abusive.
And very abusive. And in fact, that she has, there's a signed affidavit that somebody come to her and that she confided in her friend. She said, if I die, I did not kill myself.
Yep. And I think her brother and her sister have both filed affidavits with the court now.
Yeah.
With the same type of testimony, where she said, if I die of a gunshot wound, it was not me.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah. So now the other thing, and this is where it starts getting creepy. Apparently, when she met this guy, when she was 15 years old and in his youth group.
Yeah. I mean, that's classic grooming scenario.
Yes.
Just put that out there.
That is a grooming tactic that we have heard about that they use all over the place.
Sure.
And then the husband already has a new girlfriend. Well, that's not cool.
That's not cool. It clearly you're not. I mean, to think that you're already seeing somebody else. If your wife just committed suicide and you're already like that, just doesn't add up to me to jump like that. Especially if you're, even if you're especially if you're a pastor, I feel like you have to be held to a different standard, whether you like it or not. You are held to a higher standard.
Right.
And that standard includes grieving and respecting your wife enough, your past wife enough to give it some time.
Right. And, well, this is where the mystery thickens. So the woman that he is with, she was married. And in 2021, her paraplegic husband drowned in the swimming pool in their neighborhood.
Oh my gosh, get out of here. Who's a paraplegic that goes for a swim?
Right.
That don't happen by accident.
How did he get to the pool?
That all sounds so suspicious.
I'm not exactly sure on all the details and how being a paraplegic, how you get around.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it takes a lot of assistance.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to know where you're at.
Yeah. Look, I want to turn it back towards this pastor for a second, though. Can we do that? Can we talk about this freaking guy?
Yeah, because he preached the funeral for the guy that died in the swimming pool.
Stop it!
Nope.
Stop it!
It's a
and
fact.
now he's with that dude's wife.
Yes.
Ugh. So they both have dead spouses.
Yes.
And they're together magically. Now, from the outside looking in, I don't know all the deets, right? I don't know every single little ins and outs. I don't know this pastor personally. However, from the outside looking in, it looks like he just keeps trading him for a newer model.
Yeah.
Like he's been divorced. His second wife is now dead. Now he's on to a third. He's got a third on the way before you even can blink an eye. Come on. He's trading him for a newer model. This one, this second one, why did he have to kill her?
Evidently, there's and you get on TikTok and you hear so many things, but there's somebody that's got an affidavit out. This said that they would ride around and find homeless people, and he would make her do things with the homeless guy.
Get out of here, dude. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So, I mean,
you got a pastor pimping out his wife.
pretty much.
And now she's dead.
Yeah. Now,
great.
You know what? I hope none of it's true. I would really like to hope that it's just this family that didn't like the guy to begin with, and they're trying to smear his name.
Sure.
But from her Facebook videos, she talked about what it was like to be in an abusive relationship with a narcissist over and over and over again. Now, could she be the narcissist? Trying to make everybody think that he's a narcissist?
Maybe.
I don't know. But I hope if it is true that he did this, and God knows who, he's a preacher. He ain't hiding from God on it. He might be able to BS his people. But God knows what he did, and I hope he makes it miserable on him.
Yeah.
Till the truth comes out.
Me too, man.
I mean, and our preacher preached about false prophets this week. Not everybody that claims it's going to be it.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, Paul talks about it. I think I told you last night in 1 Corinthians. This is like the same thing Paul was dealing with, right? Like, yeah, sure, you guys are real spiritual. You're praying and you're speaking in tongues and you're showing all these gifts of the Holy Spirit, right? You're prophesying, you're doing all this stuff, but yet you're so ridden with sexual immorality. And you're so ridden with division, right? There were people following Paul. There were people following Apollos. There were people following Jesus. It's like, no, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Who cares that John baptized you? Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Stop it.
Right.
And so, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, right? This has all been talked about before and handled before.
Yeah, there's nothing new.
Just because this guy can speak a really good word, just because he can preach really well, doesn't mean he has good character, right? It doesn't mean he's a good person, even if he knows the word of God.
Correct. He can know the word and not know the guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I could sit here and read a bunch of stuff that some of these chassis guys put out about cars, but that don't mean I know the guy.
You're right.
And I can tell you about it. But
yeah.
Anyway,
it's a really sad story, man. It's terrible, honestly.
We are going to be following that loosely on Last Night's Coffee as updates come in. And I'm sure there's going to be once this is all said and done, there's going to be a very good podcast by somebody else other than us about it. So what kind of conspiracy you got, John?
Yes. Let's jump into the conspiracy corner. Actually, since I brought it up earlier on the show,
let's do it.
Let's jump into 0 point energy a little bit.
Okay. Is there a lot of math?
No. All I'm going to talk about is it's all conspiracy. Okay. It's just one big conspiracy. That there is a black pyramid that is underground in Alaska.
Okay.
And there's two different trains of thoughts on the conspiracy that there is a black pyramid underground in Alaska. One theory goes in the direction of the United States government and probably all world governments are working with an alien race at this pyramid.
I like that.
Okay. The other theory is that it's an archaeological discovery. It's thousands of years old, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners have heard about the Giza pyramid being the Great Pyramid of Giza being a power plant. The idea is that this black pyramid found in Alaska was still kind of powered up, and they've been trying to figure out how to use it or how to harness it or whatever. And so it's just been the U.S. government working there, trying to understand what's happening. And the idea is that, so the one train of thought that we're working with the aliens, that's supposedly a way to power their ships, their crafts. That pyramid is creating energy out of the 0 point energy field. It is harnessing the energy out of the 0 point energy field and able to recharge crafts, so to speak. The other theory that says the U.S. government is just trying to figure it out is kind of like, it kind of goes more along the lines of there is a grid across the whole planet that provided power to everyone in like pre-Ice Age ancient civilization.
Okay.
So what do you think about, there's been whistleblowers that have come out and said they've visited this Black Pyramid. A couple of them have been really credible, like Marines and things like that. What do you think about the idea? Do you think that's possible? Do you find it odd that there's no quote unquote pyramids found in North America, yet they're everywhere else? You ever thought about anything like that? What's the plausibility on this one?
Oh, man, I don't know. That sounds really weird because most of your pyramid building people didn't like cold weather, from what I've noticed.
Yeah. That's correct. They're mostly built in Mexico, South America, Egypt.
Yeah, they
Africa
like
has a bunch of pyramids.
Yeah.
Egypt.
But if they built this one in a colder climate, maybe it didn't stop working because it was cooler.
Because things have cooled down.
Because it was kept cool because it's in a colder climate.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
It's an interesting theory. It's kind of some more of that thermodynamics type stuff, right? Where like you're going to have a heat expenditure, so you need it to be in a colder area.
Like you was talking about how you got to keep that computer at 0.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, a car runs cooler in a colder environment.
Yeah. Yeah. Runs more efficient, right? Or runs better generally with cold air.
I've got a question. And
sure.
This is kind of about the aliens. Do you think ants know that we're here?
I love this train of thought because no. I think they know we're here. I think they know, like, they see us and they're like, oh, crap, look at that. It's here.
Yeah. It's here. And then it's gone. But like,
are they like always consciously aware of us? No.
So there's more ants than there are people.
Way more ants.
Around the world, right?
Yeah, there's the same biomass of people. There's more biomass of ants. Like if you take all the people together in the world and weigh them, there's more weight in ants than people. So yeah, there's a lot more ants.
So what if we're like ants to the aliens?
And they're just stepping over us every once in a while. Just
they're like, oh.
Like they're just running through their front yard. It's a crazy idea, right? Like if I was running through my front yard and the ants looked up from their anthill, they're just like, what?
Yeah. And you kick one over every now and then.
It happens. Sometimes I do it on purpose.
You spray them with some spray and they're like, oh no, a virus has come across our land. It's spreading.
And sometimes a child finds it and just starts poking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
For sure. And I think, you know how there are some people who are like obsessed with ants and study them?
Yeah.
I think we might have the same if there was an alien race who was like treated us like ants. I think there would be a select few alien races who might be interested in us.
Yep.
I think we are somewhat interesting as a species.
Yeah. I mean, well,
the same way we are fascinated with ants, lobsters, anything. I can see an alien race being fascinated with us.
I am fascinated with lobsters. And shrimp.
You got us a meme this week?
Yeah, I had to go back and get it because I forgot to save it. So, here it is coming at you.
Right on, right on.
It's going on.
I'm sorry that your cats don't understand what Mother's Day is. That's a good one, man. That's a good one.
I like my dogs and all, but they're not my kids.
No.
And
No.
these people that think they're animals or their kids, dude, get you a kid. You'll see what it's all about.
Yeah, totally different.
It's Mother's Day weekend coming up.
Yep.
And we wouldn't be here without our moms.
That's right.
That's the most obvious thing I could ever say.
Not fake news.
Not fake news. None of us are here without a mom. It's science.
We got to be careful.
Yeah, we don't want big blue hair come down on us. They thems. Oh, I got a they them story.
Big pronoun. We don't need big pronoun.
Yeah, we don't need big pronoun on us. Ooh, big pronoun on get us. But no, we want to give a shout out to all the moms.
Absolutely.
It's Mother's Day. Make sure if you're just listening to this and you just realized it's Mother's Day, there's still time. You can still go get something.
Please go get something for your mom.
Take her out to eat, get her some coffee.
Yep.
Do all the things. Make a big deal out of it. We've got all the kids are going to be at the house this weekend.
Oh, man. Everybody's coming up.
Everybody.
Awesome.
Grandbaby too.
Awesome, dude. You guys are going to have a great time. It's going to be a good Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah. I don't know where they're going to sleep.
Their old rooms, of course, right?
Well, one of them ain't got an old. So one of them's old room has been taken over by Charlie.
Right.
The other one's old room has been taken over by me and my sign shop. So the upstairs bedroom, they're just going to all pile in there.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to be a big old sleepover again.
Have a whole lot of fun.
The good part for me, though, is they don't get here till Thursday night. So Chuck's sleep will not be interrupted.
Bingo.
And that is very important.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not trying to be selfish or anything, but you know how it is working at night and your sleep gets changed by just one. It's like the space-time continuum, man. One little thing can just wreck your whole week.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
You never catch it back up.
Never catch it back up. That's the sad thing about working night shift. But
so I got up at early Friday because our pastor wanted to borrow an engine lift to work on the swimming pool so he could raise it up. And I usually get up early on Fridays anyway.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You didn't get up early for me, did you?" I was like, "No, no, I didn't." But boy, I sure could have slept this Friday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was thinking that when he asked me, I was like, "No, I didn't get up early for you, but this is one of them Fridays that if I could have, I would have slept."
Right. It's always the Fridays that someone asks you to do something, or always that day that someone asks you to do something where it's like, man, I sure could have slept this day.
I sure could have slept. I didn't mind it at all. I like it. Like, I miss that part of the morning.
Yeah.
That is one of the biggest things I miss about being a regular person is getting up and like that coolness that's in the morning.
That's right.
But you might get to see a little bit of it when you.
I do. I see the dew. I mean, I see the sunrise. I see the dew, the sparkle of the dew. I get to see it all, man.
Yeah, when I get home, it's still a little muggy.
Right.
And when I get up, it's back to being muggy.
No, it's unsettled by the time I go to sleep. It's nice.
Yeah, so you get to see that part. I don't get to see it. So one more story, and then we'll close out the show. I had a friend of mine. His kid went to the Space Center in Tallahassee on a field trip. Went to pay for his thing at the concession stand, or whatever, and ordered it. And he said, "Yes, ma'am," or "Thank you, ma'am," or whatever. Said, "Ma'am." The person shook their head and pointed at their name tag, and it said "they, them." And I said, "Well, I thank you," because I know this kid. This kid's pretty smart. I know his dad, so I know he's probably very smart too. I'm glad he didn't participate in that person's delusion.
Yes.
There ain't no such thing as a they, them.
No. No.
You can't pick.
It's made up.
Like that turtle.
Yeah.
We haven't checked the turtle yet.
No.
But we're going to assume that turtle is probably a he.
Yeah. It's a total he. It's Bean.
Yeah. Bean. I mean, you should name it Pat. Then we wouldn't have to know. You remember when Pat on SNL was a joke? You don't know what the person is. Yeah. Now we live in a freaking world of Pats, dude.
That's so true. It was a skit at one point.
We made fun of it.
Yeah. Well, it's what this world is coming to, man. At some point, hopefully, we'll all be rational again.
Here's what I'm worried about. I don't have long hair, but I have a long hair mentality. You know that.
Yeah.
I choose not to have long hair because I don't like it getting caught in creepers and it's hot. Mm-hmm. But I don't keep a short haircut because that's the American thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm scared that because of all this that's going on right now, that the pendulum is going to swing so far the other way that we're going to lose a lot of personal freedoms, and it's going to be because of the conservatives' overreaction to what's going on with the blue hairs and the they thems and all that.
So what you're insinuating is that the government at some point would swing so hard to one side that it would require males to look like males, quote unquote. You know, like cut their hair. You're no longer allowed to have long hair as a man.
Right.
You're no longer allowed to have short hair as a female. That's what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, they got a long way to go before they can get to that point. But could it swing that far? Sure.
It's a pendulum, man.
Yeah.
And the bad thing about it is going to be, you know, like you got this stuff going on right now with that bill that they come up with, the anti-Semitism. Like, you know, it's that is not a good thing. The way they wrote that bill and the writing that they put in that bill, it's not a good thing. Because it's going to prosecute Christians. And guess what? Them same people that y'all put up on this big old high post because they were anti-abortion and they checked all these boxes. They voted for it.
Yep.
And now I hope you see that they were never a quote unquote good person. They were playing you for the power. Correct.
And we all know one of the short-sightedness of politics, one of the short-sightedness that all the politicians make, whatever laws you pass will get used against you.
Yes.
It's going to happen. Just wait.
Yes.
Just wait. It will get used against you. And what's kind of even more terrifying, Chuck, is you're right. It is like a pendulum. But it seems like we're on the gaining steam portion of the pendulum. Does that make sense? Like it's not slowing down yet. Like it's picking up steam every time.
And it's going to swing back. Man,
and it goes further to one side and then further to the other. We're not on the deceleration yet.
No. And then, let it settle in the middle.
Yeah.
The middle, dude, the middle's where most people live anyway.
But what I'm saying is I almost feel like it has to get more ramped up, or it's going to get more ramped up before it gets better.
So you think it's still swinging high to the left?
Yes, but I mean, then again, we got November coming up, right? So it could swing hard to the right come this November, and even further right than the last time it was right.
Yeah.
And then it might need to go even further left. Who knows? I just feel like we're still on that gaining steam portion. We're not settling. We're not.
It's kind of like, you remember the Looping Starship at Six Flags?
Yes, exactly.
You'd go up.
Yeah.
And then you come down.
Yeah, but you had to get to that point, right?
Right, and then finally you'd roll over.
Yeah.
And when you roll over, you just start spinning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we're fixing to head.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like things are on the way of getting worse before they get better.
Yeah. All right, dude. That's our show.
Yep, we'll end right there. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it, Nightshifters.
Bye.
So yeah, shout out moms.
Shout out moms. Go get something quick.
Yeah. And not just flowers and candy.
Y'all all have to wait till Saturday afternoon around 4:00. Go swamp the Walmart then.
That's right. Hey, some of the best presents I've ever bought for people were last-minute presents. Okay?
Really?
I'm just throwing that out there.
It's like that.
Later on, Nightshifters.